Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling, well, a really fundamental question. What actually is reality? And does it even need us around to exist?
That's the core of it.
We're digging into a critique from this fascinating work, Nothing Everything, The Mind-Bending Philosophical Theory of Everything by Anubhav Srivastava. And our goal here is to figure out why the standard model, quantum reality's usual explanation, might be useful, yeah, but maybe not the whole story about objective existence itself.
Right, and that standard model is the Copenhagen Interpretation, CI for short. Look, it's brilliant for making predictions in quantum mechanics, super accurate.
Right.
But metaphysically, it kind of says reality is just this, fuzzy potential until someone, a conscious observer, actually looks. That's the big claim we're questioning.
The idea that the universe basically holds its breath until we measure it.
Pretty much. That metaphysical leap is where the problems start, according to this critique.
Okay, so if CI is so good in practice, why does it fall apart when we think about the whole universe? What are the main logical holes?
Well, the source highlights three big ones. First off, pre-existence. How does CI explain the billions of years before any life, any observers ever showed up?
Right, the stars, galaxies, they were definitely doing their thing.
Exactly. And things like radioactive decay, these quantum processes, they happen constantly, whether we're watching or not. So reality can't only exist when observed.
It feels a bit observer-centric to think otherwise, almost arrogant.
It does. And that ties into the second conflict, the observer paradox. We are made of the stuff of the universe. We evolved from it.
We're inside the system, not outside looking in.
Precisely. So for you, the observer,
Yeah.
to even exist, the universe needed to be a stable, functioning, pre-existing thing. CI flips that. It suggests the observer somehow conjures reality.
Which is backwards. Reality had to be there first to make the observer.
Logically, yes. And the third issue, multiple observers. This is a big one.
Okay.
If my observation creates reality, collapsing probabilities into, say, town A, and your observation creates town B.
How do we end up sharing the same reality? How do our towns connect?
CI, taken as the ultimate metaphysical truth, just doesn't offer a good mechanism for that shared reality. It struggles to reconcile different observer perspectives into one coherent world.
So it works for isolated experiments maybe, but not for, well, everyone living together?
That's the argument. It's a practical tool, incredibly useful, but it fails when you stretch it to say reality cannot exist without being watched.
Okay, so what's the alternative perspective here from Srivastava's work? If it's not creation, what is it?
It's about selection, not creation. The idea is there's an underlying objective reality, the Noumenon, as philosophers call it. Think of it as the thing in
The
itself.
thing in itself.
Yeah, and when we observe when the wave function collapses, we're not making something from nothing. We're selecting one specific way to interpret or view that already existing Noumenon.
Ah, okay. Like the analogy in the book, viewing the ground from different floors.
Exactly that.
The ground is there, solid, objective. That's the Noumenon. But my view, my interpretation changes if I'm on the second floor versus the 20th.
Right. The act of observing is a convergence into a specific perspective and interpretation. My measurement selects this aspect of the Noumenon to become apparent to me.
But the Noumenon itself, the ground, was always there. That makes a lot more sense, actually.
It avoids those logical contradictions we talked about.
So this alternative, this noumenal world idea, it proposes an objective reality that's independent of observers.
Correct. It exists whether we look or not.
And that makes it more coherent. Is that the argument?
Yes, because it naturally allows for that preexistence. The stars, the laws of physics before life. It ensures a shared reality for multiple observers. We're all interacting with the same underlying Noumenon, even if our perspectives differ slightly. The town A, town B problem just dissolves.
Because the town was objectively there, we just
Yeah.
agreed on how we perceived it together.
Essentially, yes. It grounds observers within reality as products of it.
So the big critique of CI, ultimately, is that it kind of leads to solipsism. Like, only my mind is sure to exist because my observation is what counts.
That's the danger, yes. It privileges the observer without explaining why or how one observer's interaction is the definitive one, especially when there are many observers.
Whereas the noumenal framework says reality is objective and we're just participants. We perceive it, interpret it.
Participants, exactly, not the creators of the whole show.
So the key shift, the big takeaway, is moving from seeing observation as creation to seeing it as interpretation of something already real.
That's the heart of it. Observation selects a perspective on an existing reality.
Okay, but then, if observing is just selecting from possibilities, Where did all those possibilities, that underlying potential, actually come from? Where's the real creation happening?
Now that is a deep question. And the source material suggests that perhaps the true level of creation, if you like, isn't in our individual observations, but maybe at the many worlds level.
Many worlds.
Yeah.
Where every possibility plays out.
Perhaps. Where all potential quantum interactions unfold across countless parallel universes, creating this infinitely rich and varied noumenon that we then sample through our observations. That's a massive concept.
Wow. Okay.
And that whole framework, how many worlds might relate to the noumenon, is explored in much more detail in the book, Nothing Everything.
Definitely something to chew on. A fantastic place to leave it for today. Thank you for joining us on this pretty mind-bending deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
We really hope you keep exploring these massive questions about reality. See you next time.